Nobody could have predicted that a single late-night phone call would change the course of history. A possible affair between Mendeecees and Selma, which fans have been talking about for weeks, may have been confirmed by Sierra's late call. Speculations, screenshots, and supposition flooded social media last night, according to rumors that are rapidly spreading online as fans try to piece together what really happened behind the scenes. Is this narrative more complicated than everyone thought, or had there been a simple miscommunication? Love and hip-hop observers are calling this one of the most surprising developments to date. Because of the tension, the secrets, and the quiet, things have only gotten worse. From everybody, Mendeecees' silence is unusual. The reason Selma's name is popular is completely unrelated. Fans of Andy are also clamoring for clarification. Although she may not have meant for her chat to be used to expose someone, admirers say they heard the emotion in her voice and that what she said might have destroyed multiple relationships. Annoyance, surprise, and perhaps even regret. Throughout the timelines, a single question keeps coming up as people try to piece everything together. Was the Mendeecees family's secret affair really exposed by Sierra, or was this just another example of reality TV gone too far? According to some who claim to have heard the call, it started with silence, the kind that is more powerful than words, and it was almost midnight when it was heard. Initially hesitant and shaky, Sierra's voice was firm enough to suggest that she wasn't engaging in small talk. According to those who knew the problem, she had found something she couldn't ignore. She allegedly received messages, possibly even images, that implied Mendeecees and Selma had a disastrous connection. Her speech tone conveyed all. Rather than gossip, it was conflict wrapped in miscommunication. She didn't want to believe what she had seen, but she knew deep down that the truth couldn't be kept a secret forever. It was becoming clearer and clearer that this was not a mere rumor. Her words were heavy, intense, and had that trembling edge that comes only when a secret has just turned into a storm. Those who closely observed Mendeecees and Yandi in the days that followed noticed something strange. Both seemed unusually quiet. Social media posts vanished, and comments were prohibited. The connection was immediately apparent to fans when Yandi, who is known for her grace and poise, started sharing mysterious posts regarding energy and trust. The timing was too perfect, or it was too awful. Meanwhile, Selma, who was recently seen spending more time with the two, seemed to disappear from the spotlight. Nothing, no posts. No stories. It looked that she vanished as soon as the rumors began. Investigators started looking over earlier photos, looking for hints, emojis, or phrases that would hint at something deeper. A group photo from an event where Selma was present kept appearing, standing too close to the Mendeecees and grinning too confidently. Fans started to rewind interviews and rewatch shows in an attempt to identify body language clues they might have missed before. There was more to the online detectives. Despite the fact that what was said cannot be verified, Sierra's call was clearly not arbitrary. It has been reported that some individuals have found texts that imply Selma may have been sharing her complex emotions with a close, intimate. People near the circle said that tension was already building beneath the surface when it occurred. Yandi was genuinely uncomfortable, but at first she wrote the reports off as social media chatter. She knew that quiet could often be seen as guilt, and she had seen the harm that gossip could cause to relationships. According to friends, she started to pay more attention after noticing that Mendeecees would step outdoors to accept calls, that his tone would alter, and that his phone was now constantly facing down. At every mention of Selma's name, the surprise came when Andy's buddy apparently received a message from an unknown number with screenshots attached that supposedly showed conversations between Mendeecees and Selma. Despite the fact that no one can confirm whether the screenshots were real, they were enough to send a shockwave through the mind. Put yourself in her position, holding your phone, trying to force yourself to believe it, and reading words that could confirm your darkest fears. Nightmare. The rising disagreement between the couple was also noticed by their closest associates. They tried to keep a straight face when they appeared in public, but the atmosphere was strange. Fans took note of every tiny detail. Mandy's ceased to smile, and Yandi's eyes told a story of sleepless nights. Their relationship, which had once been one of power, now felt cold, distant, and strained. There was speculation about Selma after that. Those who had formerly praised her confidence now seemed to doubt her intentions. Or had she been caught in the middle of a dangerous game? On the internet, a never-ending debate among supporters produced increasingly dramatic strands and hypotheses. Some argued that Sierra's call was not meant to expose Yandi, but rather to protect him from a more severe heartbreak. She was seen by others as an expert in her field and as someone who wanted the truth to be revealed no matter the cost. Emotions were intense as the online debate progressed. Previously aired clips of Selma appreciating Mendeecees a little too much began to circulate. Looks were repeated, the footage was slowed down, and small exchanges were used to build whole stories. This turned out to be more than a rumor, but a fast-spreading fire. The fact that people were so split, though, only made things more confusing. With everything he and Yandi had been through, others supported Mendeecees, saying he would never endanger their marriage. Others believed that where smoke is present, fire is always present. Yandi herself, meanwhile, was mostly silent, blogging reflectively and appearing sparingly. Admirers, however, often claim that denial is less effective than quiet. There was tension in the air behind closed doors. Mendeecees warned Yandy in an effort to reassure her to doubt all she heard. They said he told her, "People just want to see us fall." But instead of comforting her, his calmness made her question if he had uttered that statement too often. According to others who claim to have insight, the emotional equilibrium between stated and unspoken words is where that occurs. Truly established, Yandy wanted to believe him, even though it's hard to regain trust once it's been damaged. Sierra felt constrained in the meantime. Her call had set off an unstoppable storm. Even though she had no intention of, she was now involved in something that was spiraling out of control. Blogs offered frequent updates, fans kept talking, and influencers produced reaction videos. It was less of a rumor and more like a live-streamed reality show. It was impossible to turn away. They all understood deep down that the story was only beginning to unravel. They still desired confrontation, answers, and possibly even closure. Though, as the days turned into weeks, the silence grew further and further. The more it became evident that something within her had changed, the Yandy made a greater effort to remain calm as usual. She seemed a little less energetic than usual. During conversations, she avoided looking at the person and seemed to be holding her phone closer than ever. Those who knew her well noted these slight changes. She did it more to shield herself from possible heartache than to examining the messages. According to perceptive individuals, Yandy eventually made a discreet approach to Mendeecees. There was a general sense of unspoken apprehension. She was unable to control herself any longer. She had remained quiet for too long. She reportedly questioned him directly about if he and Selma were at conflicts. Without hesitation, Mendeecees denied it in a calm yet guarded manner. "Can you really think I would throw away everything we've built?" As he spoke, he walked around the room. Yandy took a while to respond, though she only watched him, searching for any trace of regret in his words. That's when Yandy mentioned the Sierra call, according to some reports. Rather than accusing, she gave the facts. "I saw something," Sierra said in a steady but quiet voice, "and called me." When Sierra's name was uttered, the mood completely changed. Following a moment of silence, Mendeecees said, "What precisely did she?" Yandy was devastated by just one inquiry. "Tell you." That inquiry wouldn't be asked by an innocent man, she thought. Someone who, even if he was speaking the truth. One person now did interviews that once featured the couple together. Posts that started with "us" changed to "me," and whenever Selma's name was spoken up, heartbreaks and fire emo were common responses. Selma made a quiet but purposeful comeback on the internet. She published a picture with the caption, "Not everyone can handle the truth." But she didn't identify anyone in the midst of all this chaos. But the timing was enough to send others into a tailspin. In only a few minutes, the post, which tagged Sierra, Mendeecees, and even Yandy, garnered thousands of comments. Many interpreted it as a cryptic attack, suggesting that Selma was not backing down from whatever tale was emerging. Others defended her, saying she was being misunderstood, while others accused her of inflaming the situation for publicity. The real spark, however, came when an unidentified user began sharing what it claimed were private texts between Selma and Mendeecees. Although no one could verify their authenticity, the content was enough to stir up controversy on social media. The messages hinted at late-night gatherings, inside jokes, and emotional exchanges that went beyond friendship. Reports state that Yandy broke her silence within her inner circle when screenshots went viral, saying to a close friend, "I don't even know who no longer to believe." She was aware that every action she took would be closely watched, and that every tear could make the news. But Sierra's statements showed a sense of exhaustion that came from both betrayal and constantly having to defend her relationship and image in front of the public. "I only told the truth because lies destroy more than silence ever could," she wrote in an indirect online response. But despite her good intentions, people started to question whether she was genuinely trying to protect Yandy or if she was exposing the issue for personal gain. Once again, admirers scrutinized every word, turning her comment into evidence that something real was happening. Mendeecees tried to downplay everything. Meanwhile, the description of a post he wrote about not letting the internet ruin what you've built seemed like damage control, a clever statement asking for privacy, but for many, it was too late. But every attempt to maintain composure only served to heighten his perceived guilt in the eyes of his supporters. And since the seed of doubt had already germinated, Yandy's emotional toll became more apparent, with those who saw her occasionally reporting that she looked calmer, more distant, and as if her mind were elsewhere. And even when she was in public, her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Selma was unconcerned throughout this whole situation, and she reportedly started spending more time away from home behind the scenes, focusing on her work and avoiding conversations that brought up Mendeecees. She started sharing motivational quotes like owning your truth and not letting others control you. Fans started to wonder if she had access to information that the general public did not. and some found her confidence fascinating, while others found it aggravating. This kind of subliminal message feeds rumors and keeps her name trending without actually offering proof. From reality TV critics to influencers, everyone had an opinion. And what began as a quiet late-night phone conversation has now evolved into a full-fledged social media confession. Some called it the season's biggest scandal, while others claimed it was all part of a plot development. But what really stood out was the pure emotion. Mendeecees' nervous poise, Sierra's embarrassment, and Yandy's silence all hinted at something deeper than fame, and even their industry friends started to take sides. That statement alone, according to a close colleague, stoked the fires, causing fans to wonder whether this was just the beginning. It's not as straightforward as people assume. No matter what, it was clear that trust had been betrayed. Of the truth, and one thing was evident: this betrayal, real or imagined, had left everyone unsettled in a world where every look, caption, and silence becomes part of the story. The tension grew more and more as the days passed, and those closest to Yandy noticed a change in her demeanor. While she had always been a symbol of authority, there was now a slight hesitation in her voice and a subtle fatigue in her movements. Even casual encounters felt tense, and she apparently avoided being alone with men. According to friends, she jumped every when she got a phone notification. It was as if she was expecting another unpleasant revelation. According to insiders, the turning point was when Yandy decided to speak with Mendeecees directly, and they exchanged questions, denials, explanations, in lengthy moments that seemed to last for hours after she asked him to sit down. At first, she didn't raise her voice. She instead let her shock and disbelief to show in every word, saying, "I must know the truth. I can't keep speculating and acting like everything is all right." According to sources, Mendeecees' attempt to explain that Sierra's call had overstated the situation was unsuccessful. He allegedly said, "You have to understand that I never wanted any of this to happen." Though his eyes were skeptical, Yandy stated, "There is nothing between Selma and me. However, everything is in order. The messages, the timing, the way she keeps popping up around you," she said. When tidbits of this altercation began to surface, individuals on social media began analyzing every detail, pointing to every look, every hesitancy, and every delay in an attempt to infer guilt or innocence. Her comments were calm but insightful observations rather than accusations. Flurry of online opinions, with some praising Yandy for demanding accountability and others supporting men. Fans took sides, arguing over the smallest details as though they held the key to the entire truth, and hashtags began to trend. Selma is reported to have remained composed, almost aloof. During this time, the ambiguity of her posts, which sparked more curiosity than clarity, led fans to wonder whether she was intentionally keeping herself in the conversation, or if she was truly reflecting on her own experiences. She posted statements about truth and self-worth without naming anyone by name, which fueled rumors that she was aware that her role in the drama was being examined. According to reports, Yandy experienced a significant emotional toll, and her friends saw her sitting up late contemplating and deciding what to do next. She was consumed with figuring out how to handle the situation without losing herself, not to mention the potential betrayal. "I can't let this define me." Now, according to sources, she told a close friend, "I have to stay strong for myself and my kids." Fans connected with that attitude, which prompted discussions about self-respect and empowerment in the face of loss. Meanwhile, the alleged letters between Mendeecees and Selma circulated widely, suggesting late-night conversations that went beyond simple friendship, though their authenticity was not verified. Some argued that without context, nothing could be confirmed, but admirers quickly interpreted them as evidence of an affair, and the debate heated up as experts and commentators rushed in, examining the timing, tone, and intent of each message. The story didn't just affect the couple. Some friends and family members reportedly had to take sides, leaving them stuck in the middle. Kirk and Rashida, who had also been publicly criticized, reportedly offered Yandy support and advice, saying to the Mendeecees, "Sometimes being right doesn't matter if you've already lost trust." Tensions were still high, so even though the council had good intentions, it didn't seem to be taken seriously. Every social media post and public appearance sparked rumors among fans, and when Yandy posted a picture of herself smiling at a gathering, people praised her for her strength and said she looked beautiful despite the storm. Every post changed from being merely content to being a statement and an example of inner strength in the face of chaos. Additionally, some sources claim that Mendeecees tried to explain the situation to their mutual acquaintances on multiple occasions in an attempt to get their opinion or advice, but the frequent defenses only confirmed the feeling that something was amiss, even if it was simple. Fans argued over whether repeated explanations meant guilt or innocence, and the controversy spread to blogs, forums, and live commentary streams. Despite his apparent insistence that nothing improper had happened, as the weeks went by, the story continued to dominate headlines, with every subtle interaction between the three becoming the focus of. There were constant discussions about Sierra's involvement, including whether she was acting to protect Yandy or for personal reasons. and fans argued about the reliability of sources, the accuracy of leaks, and whether intentionally or not, Selma maintained her prominence. Her well-chosen tweets being interpreted as either blatant arrogance or crafty manipulation. A perfect storm that seemed far from resolved was created by the combination of public scrutiny, personal betrayal, and complex societal dynamics. Reports state that close family members experienced subtle tensions that no one wanted to openly discuss because they were split between supporting Mendeecees and remaining loyal to Yandhi. All parties were impacted by the complicated drama that began with a simple late-night phone conversation, and as friends, family, social media, and reality TV viewers joined the story, it became more difficult to discern between reality, speculation, and perception. In the midst of all of this, Yandhi's, even in the face of chaos, quiet strength continues to garner praise, showing that one can maintain control over their own narrative. As the strain mounted, the interactions between the three individuals became more complex, and Yandhi allegedly began setting previously unheard-of boundaries in her relationship with Mendeecees, reduced the number of private meetings, started attending events alone, and made it clear that trust would have to be rebuilt gradually, if at all. Her friends said that every action she took was thoughtful, well-planned, and meant to protect her emotional well-being, while men's reactions were said to be obvious annoyance. He felt limited by the constant scrutiny from the media and fans, according to those close to him, but he still wanted to explain, clarify, and make amends. Every attempt he made to appear calm or apologetic was scrutinized online, with some interpreting his restraint as an indication of guilt and others seeing it as a responsible response to a difficult situation. Insiders claim that Selma remained enigmatic, quiet in public, but busy behind the scenes, seemingly reaching out to friends and family and subtly influencing the narrative through her social media posts, which featured inspirational quotes, cryptic titles, and images that conveyed confidence and distance, continued fueling speculation. It was said that Yandhi's emotional toll grew, and those who knew her well observed that she was either purposefully positioning herself or simply managing her own complicated feelings. Showed clear symptoms of sensitivity at times, including reflection, emotional texts to close friends, and a noticeable shyness in social settings. Her friends claim that she stated, "I can't undo the past, but I can control how I move forward." Sierra's position remained a hot topic of discussion, and many people expressed sympathy for her loss and admiration for her strength. On the internet, there was a lot of debate about why she had made the call, with some arguing that she may have had personal reasons for interfering, while others believed she was simply disclosing the information for Yandhi's benefit. Regardless, the significance of that one call could not be emphasized enough. People close to the couple said that all of their conversations after the call were tense, and that Yandhi and her close circle remained suspicious despite Mendeecees' attempts to explain. Harmless conversations with Selma. It was the beginning of a chain of events that made everyone question honesty, loyalty, and the lines separating friendship from meddling. This combination of public pressure and private skepticism magnified every speech and behavior. Followers scrutinized old videos on social media for clues, moments that had previously been ignored, such as lingering looks, faint smiles, and private jokes, were now interpreted as signs of something more. Some said that Mendeecees and Selma's relationship had been developing for months, while others claimed that rumors and conjecture had blown it out of proportion. The rumors even affected common friends, according to a plethora of speculations on forums and blogs. Everyone in the group found it increasingly difficult to maintain objectivity, and some felt pressured to take sides or clarify the situation. Even minor conversations were scrutinized and often misunderstood despite friends' best attempts to mediate. Meanwhile, Yandhi focused on her own endeavors, spent more time with her children, and surrounded herself with confidants she could trust. According to acquaintances, this period was as much about reevaluating her relationship as it was about healing herself. She began to question not only the accusations of an affair, but also the more basic patterns of communication and trust in her marriage. Mendeecees reportedly tried to manage the fallout by having private conversations with a select group of friends and family members, offering consolation and explanation, but each explanation seemed to be regarded with mistrust, thus widening the emotional divide. While some supporters perceived these efforts as a means of controlling the damage, Selma's strategy remained unchanged. To stay relevant in the narrative, she reportedly maintained a calm demeanor while selectively engaging in social interactions. Supporters speculated that she had a greater influence on the events than first believed, further clouding public perception. At public events, where the three's subtle interactions made headlines, the strain became unbearable. Frame by frame, the timing of appearances, eye contact, and body language were analyzed, and what would have been normal in any other circumstance was suddenly read as a statement, a hint, or a confirmation of the ongoing drama. According to insiders, Yandy's emotional well-being was severely affected by these months of attention, and the procedure was intended to help her regain control, understand her own feelings, and determine whether trust could be restored. She reportedly spent long evenings reflecting, journaling, and confiding in her closest friends. As the story developed, the family and close friends were reportedly divided. Others offered support to Yandy, understanding the repercussions of potential betrayal, while others tried to mediate in an attempt to preserve relationships and stability within the circle. The constant interplay of loyalty, skepticism, and emotion created an unstable environment. Any post, comment, or story could be interpreted as evidence, an opinion, or a strategy. And as fans continued to debate, theorize, and analyze interactions, the line between fact and speculation grew increasingly blurred. From a late-night call, the story had grew into a full-fledged saga that enthralled audiences and left them wondering how or when a resolution would ever be reached. The emotional intensity was consistent throughout, and the combination of Sierra's catalytic call, Mendeecees' attempts at explanation, Yandy's measured responses, and Selma's deft moves created a story that seemed inevitable and never-ending. As we've seen, what started as a late-night phone conversation has grown into a full-fledged drama, leaving fans all over the world talking about every exchange, message, and look. A plot that was already full of conflict, tension, and unsolved mysteries gained depth with each new discovery. No matter how minor, we sincerely appreciate your support at this turbulent time. Whether Mendeecees and Selma's romance was a genuine affair or just a convoluted web of miscommunication, one thing is for sure, the fallout has shocked all parties involved and has kept the internet buzzing, inspiring many admirers with Yandy's strength and grace. Sierra's role as the catalyst only serves to deepen the narrative by igniting discussions on honesty, loyalty, and when it's time to face hard realities. The drama feels larger than any one post or comment because the public is still speculating. Despite this, she has tried to maintain her own peace while navigating a challenging mixture of betrayal, uncertainty, and public scrutiny, evaluating and discussing their opinions. Now that the family and close friends are caught in the middle, it's your turn to weigh in. What, in your perspective, really happened behind closed doors? Do you believe Mendeecees' explanations, or do you believe the rumors that Sierra's calls sparked? We're interested in hearing your thoughts, theories, and predictions, because this story isn't going to stop anytime soon. Please hit the notification bell to be the first to know when the next chapter of this story occurs. What do you think of Yandy's response and her handling of the situation? If you're following the drama, please like this video and subscribe to remain up to date on every new development. Let us know what you think in the comments box below. In a story this complicated, the conversation is just as important as the actual happenings. There are still many questions, new details, and opportunities for fans to get involved in the story every